Good afternoon, my fellow astronomy students. My name is Rhiannon, and for my vacation planning presentation, we're going to be looking at Saturn. We're going to be exploring some characteristics, comparisons, challenges, and possible solutions. So sit back and enjoy my presentation. Now, before we explore into what Saturn is and its characteristics, let's talk about why we would want to go there. Now, unfortunately, it's not really an environment that could house life for us, but it is a gorgeous planet with so many areas of interest. For starters, the rings surrounding it are absolutely breathtaking. It's often referred to as the jewel of the solar system. Saturn is my personal favorite planet, which is why I chose it for my presentation. It's also the farthest planet from the Earth that can be viewed with nothing more than the naked eye and a telescope. Also, it rains diamonds, which I think is pretty cool. Here you'll see a picture provided by NASA, as well as a picture of my own headboard that I painted. Now let's take a look at some of the characteristics about Saturn. It's the sixth planet from the Sun and the second largest in our solar system, coming in next to Jupiter. It has the second fastest rotation at 10 hours and 30 minutes, also coming in next to Jupiter, just under 10 hours at 9.9. The planet was discovered in the early 1600s by Galileo and is being classified as a gas giant. Saturn, interestingly enough, has the lowest density of all the planets. It's even less dense than water, meaning that if it could fit inside a huge bathtub, it would float. This gas giant has both northern and southern lights and is surrounded by more than 60 diverse moons, Titan being a huge area of interest. The rings itself are made up of ice, rocks, dust, and small moons. Now let's take a look at some interesting comparisons. 1 year on Saturn is equal to 30 years on Earth. Its volume is 755 times greater than Earth. Its atmosphere is 96% hydrogen and 4% helium. To compare, Earth's atmosphere is 78% nitrogen, 21% oxygen, and other trace gases make up the difference. Its radius is 9 times that of Earth. They both experience seasons, and they both were formed around the same time. Saturn is the least dense planet, while Earth is the most dense. Now, while Saturn has much more mass than Earth, it's spread out over a larger area. It's a gas giant, therefore it has no solid surface to stand on. However, if you could stand on Saturn, you would find the gravity to be almost identical to that of Earth. Now let's explore some of the challenges of traveling to Saturn. Obviously, it is a gaseous planet, which means there's no solid surface to stand on or land on with any spacecraft. If you did try to stand on its surface, you would sink through the atmosphere. The pressure increases the further you go, and you would eventually be crushed underneath it. Saturn is also an incredibly windy planet. Winds around the equator can reach up to 1,800 kilometers per hour. This is an incredible comparison, as on Earth, the fastest winds only reach about 400 kilometers per hour. Saturn doesn't have enough oxygen in its atmosphere to support us. However, even if it did have oxygen in its atmosphere, the winds would make it nearly impossible for us to breathe, as the air would be sucked from our lungs. Finally, let's talk about some possible solutions to the challenges I presented earlier. Unfortunately, there's no way to live on Saturn's surface or even inside of it, considering the temperature and pressure would melt and crush spacecrafts. Theoretically speaking, to successfully live inside of the planet, we would need technology and materials strong enough to handle intense temperature and immense pressure. Another option is staying on one of Saturn's moons, Titan. It has internal oceans and an atmosphere similar to Earth, one we could handle. To successfully live there, all you would need is an oxygen mask and warm clothing to handle the temperatures. As for the pressure, you would find it feels similar to sitting at the bottom of a swimming pool. Titan's environment is fairly benign, making it a suitable plan B. Overall, Saturn is a magnificent planet that adds so much beauty to our solar system. While we may never be able to land or live on Saturn, we can still learn as much about it, which will then give us more insight to our solar system, our Earth, and everything surrounding it. I want to thank you all for listening to my presentation. I hope you learned something, and have a wonderful day.